Good day, colleagues, friends, and fellow sustainers. Welcome to Part 6, Contesting Logistics, Intel, and Targeting. As we operationalize this concept, let's begin with 2022 when Russian rail hubs became priority targets for Ukrainian HIMARS units, delaying entire divisions by days. 3 years later, Houthi missile attacks on Red Sea shipping forced global insurers to hike premiums 300% overnight, proving that a few inexpensive munitions can ripple across markets worth billions. The story I am telling is that of a paradigm shift. Whoever shapes the logistics environment shapes the fight itself, the architects of victory. In Part 6, I intend to show you how intelligence-driven targeting turns sustainment from a vulnerability into an asymmetric and dominant weapon. I'll walk you through the phases, the data fusion, and most importantly, the mindset required to win the logistics fight before the first shot is fired. So let's dive in. This is our campaign plan for logistics dominance. Phase 0 begins long before CNN covers the crisis, deep baselining, operational analysis, target prioritization, and a full dress rehearsal. It is way left of the bang. We replicate the foresight with digital twinning and GPU accelerated Monte Carlo models that stress every rail spur, port crane, and fiber backhaul. Phase 1 converts that prep into 90% confidence target folders, secure, shareable, and actionable, precise, machine-readable, and pre-cleared by legal, weaponized for multi-domain effects, and linked to economic sanction triggers. By Phase 2, there is synchronized contestation. We've synchronized cyber intrusions, market sanctions, and kinetic strikes to slice enemy throughput by a third. Phases 3 and 4 escalate pressure, forcing the adversary to pull 20% of combat power back into rear area defense. Exactly what Coalition Special Operations forces against ISIS oil convoys in 2016 when they diverted 2 brigades to convoy escort duties and off the front line. Finally, Phase 5 flips the lens inward. Our losses stay under 5% because we've already hardened, dispersed, and decoyed our own sustainment nodes. Execute in sequence, and we dictate the operational rhythm. Our priority questions are brutally practical. Where are the single points of failure? Which bridge span, which fiber optic relay, which subcontractor's invoice timing can paralyze an armored brigade? Let's get the questions right at the PIR stage. In that case, every collection, asset, and analytic hour that follows delivers exponential return. Machine algorithms flag anomalies. Human insight provides context. The power of human and machine teaming. Our AI and machine learning layer needs to automatically flag anomalies, like a sudden 40% surge in diesel orders at a depot 200 kilometers from the front. But machines alone can't contextualize why. That's where fusion centers come in. Envision the integration of human snippets, SIGINT traffic, and GeoInt change detection. Lessons learned. In 2023, at the onset of the Israeli-Hamas conflict, a joint fusion cell combined overhead synthetic aperture radar imagery with trucking manifests scraped from Telegram and identified an ammo tunnel entrance in less than 6 hours. Visualization tools then translated that finding into a commander's common language, risk heat maps, convoy reroute alerts, and predictive repair timelines. The takeaway? Analyze fast, visualize risk, act first, because speed of insight is the new high ground. The force multiplier equation is fusion plus analytics plus collaboration. Run advanced analytics to forecast, not just detect, logistics choke points. In 2024, NATO's Diana accelerator tested a machine learning model that predicted Russian ammo convoy departures 48 hours ahead with 82% accuracy, allowing Ukrainian artillery to pre-plot fires. The takeaway is that when allies and industry share intel in real time, we accelerate from reactive sustainment to proactive dominance in competition, which brings deterrence. See everything, precise targeting, disrupt decisively. This slide depicts a layered map of suppliers, technologies, and physical nodes. Imagine Amazon's digital twin of its fulfillment network. Now apply it to an adversary's missile supply chain. We ingest customs filings, AIS vessel tracks, cryptocurrency wallet flows, patent citations, TikTok videos showing rail offloading lines, any signal that betrays movement or manufacturing. Human cross-checks factory shift schedules, while GeoInt verifies smokestack plumes match nominal production. The result is a graded dossier ranking every dependency by impact and fragility. Markets are a battlefield. By weaponizing economic levers, we can deny adversaries critical inputs without firing a shot. The 2022 Dutch photolithography export ban delayed China's most advanced chip line by at least 2 years. Highlighting here 5 levers: sanctions, export controls, public-private partnership, data sharing, predictive BI, and dual-use pinch points. What do I see as the call to action? We should integrate Wall Street analysts with J2 and J4 planners, so commodity fluctuations trigger operational warnings. Because when cobalt futures spike, someone's drone production schedule just slipped. The inside the battlefield begins on the Bloomberg terminal. Target prioritization occurs at the seams of effects, proportionality, and coalition legality. Each vetted node sits on a dynamic joint target list, accessible to multi-domain effectors: kinetic, cyber, informational, and financial. We fuse every source, rank every node, and then ask, which action yields disproportionate strategic gain with minimum collateral? Success depends on a common data backbone, a federated mission network where an electronic warfare operator, an F-35 pilot, and a Treasury sanctions lawyer can view the same risk ledger and read from the same playbook. The key takeaway here: simple, perhaps obvious information parity is the prerequisite of multi-domain synergy. On any given choke point, we choose the lever or combination that bends the supply chain with breaking international law or coalition cohesion. Here is a recent example. The 2023 Sudan crisis: U.S. diplomats negotiated overflight rights, while the Treasury froze militia accounts and AFRICOM repositioned air refuelers. Within 72 hours, the adversary's fuel pipeline was functionally contested. So here is the question: are your staff processes agile enough to synchronize those levers inside a single decision cycle? Actionable production means no PDFs collecting digital dust. Each target dossier includes cyber and geospatial coordinates, recommended courses of action, collateral damage estimates, and a pre-cleared legal review. In 2025's Baltic Defender exercise, a pilot version of this dossier pipeline cut approval time from 96 hours to 18. We leverage auto-GPT summarizers, human-in-the-loop red teamers, and a NATO-federated mission container pushed the product straight to shooter and sanctions desks alike. The insight: if the dossier isn't executable, it's just trivia. The author of The Effective Executive, Peter Drucker, said, "If you can't measure it, you can't improve it." So how do we measure our effectiveness? We measure throughput reduction percentages, adversary force diversion ratios, time to recover, and conversely our own loss rates, and our ability to increase decision velocity. We assist in tracking enemy reroute latency. After predicting an adversary's plan B, measure how long it takes for them to find it themselves. Just think. If we were able to take that reroute latency and stretch it from 6 to 48 hours, we just bought 2 operational pauses for a brigade combat team. Metrics are our evidence, our narrative, and our funding argument. So the insight: metrics are not just scoreboards. They secure budget, justify authorities, and refine tactics. Sustainment staff must think like venture capitalists. Data points tell the story that wins the next tranche of resource investment. This concept and integration model accomplishes 2 things. 1, it secures our network and disrupts theirs. 2 key defenses include zero trust architectures, software bills of materials transparency, and continuous penetration testing, which protect the friendly side. Offensively, information ops seed doubt. Who remembers Russia's 2018 Ghostwriter campaign that leveraged compromised social media accounts and targeted several NATO member countries in Europe, attempting to undermine confidence in the defensive organization as well? It exploited military and political sensitivities. It impacted public opinion. It challenged decision-making. Here we unpack the methodology. Stakeholder mapping links upstream ore contracts, midstream fabrication plants, and downstream investors, because sometimes pressuring a pension fund in Oslo, Norway, is faster than bombing a factory in Harbin, China. Visualization and metrics give commanders heat maps that update as quickly as Bloomberg terminals. Choke point identification looks for low-cost, high-impact disruptions, like the single transformer yard powering radio frequency fuse lines in Luhansk Oblast. Continuous improvement encompasses updates to the map with every snapshot satellite pass, every automatic identification system ping, and every viral TikTok clip featuring new rail wagons. Supply chain mapping is not a product. It is a biosensor for strategic advantage. The enemy gets a vote, and they study us too, and intently. We study the Russian attacks on Ukrainian rail, which taught us how quickly a $30 million missile can immobilize $3 billion of rolling stock. We study the PLA's cyber emphasis is evident in their 2024 mock disruptions of Taiwan's power company, supervisory control, and data acquisition networks. That should signal that energy grids are fair game. Undersea cable vulnerabilities. When Tonga's cable snapped in 2022, it took 5 weeks to restore full bandwidth. The effect: temporary paralysis of a theater's ISR and command and control. A lesson here: diversify communication paths, stock critical spares, and pre-position cable repair ships. We need to adopt financial sector style stress testing. Banks run capital ratio stress tests and sustainers, must game fuel disruptions, munitions delays, and cyber outages while assigning probability, impact, and mitigation costs. Resilience is not a compliance box. It is a competitive advantage. Defense equals depth, dispersion, deception, and digital hygiene. Our alliances in logistics need to employ pre-positioned modular fuel bladders, create phantom depots on radar, and rotate IP ranges every 24 hours. Here's your takeaway. Cyber defensive logistics closes the loop. Continuous threat hunting has the potential to cut insider threat dwell time from 28 days to under 48 hours. And finally, it is people, the digital pit crew, recruiting cyber-literate logisticians, training fuelers on how to run cybersecurity framework playbooks, and incentivizing white hat hacking to keep us ahead of zero-day surprises. We cannot contest adversary logistics without bulletproofing our own. This is the relationship that comes with the concept's mastery. Innovation is our muscle, yet it atrophies without the reps. And here is the workout plan: experimentation, cross-domain collaboration, scenario-based training, and public-private partnership leverage. Army Futures Command's Project Overmatch demonstrated that pairing data scientists with 3D print technicians reduced supply lead times on armored hatch components by 87%. Recruiting and retaining those experts is as vital as buying the next platform. We need career paths that allow a cyber logistics officer to lead a drone swarm on one tour and then run an AI fusion cell the next. Pause with me for one last strategic breath. In every theater, logistics now is decisive terrain. Rail yards and fiber conduits carry the same operational gravity as mountain passes and straits. Dominance belongs to those who let intelligence, not inventory, dictate tempo. It is our movement through a disciplined 6-phase battle rhythm where each step primes the next. It is our orchestration every lever of national power that we use so precisely that an adversary is dislocated before a single round is fired. It belongs to those who quantify progress with a living logistics disruption index, fortify their own sustainment networks with depth, dispersion, and deception, and cultivate a culture where cyber-literate logisticians rotate seamlessly from AI fusion cells to drone repair platoons to sanctions desks. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at a crossroads. Master the art of contesting logistics, mapping the threat, fusing the data, hardening the network, and we will command the fight on our terms. Neglect it, and we will chase events the enemy sets in motion. So why don't we elevate sustainment risk in every war game, fund fusion cells in every theater, drill the sequence until reflexive, and build the career paths that keep innovation on a war footing. The next conflict's decisive battle may be won before the first convoy even loads. Thank you, and stay with me for part 7, where we turn this blueprint into operational muscle.